This is Beyond the Bench with Nick Morgasen and Nick Fodera. A look at sports and pop culture from beyond common sense. The show that constantly goes off the rails and might never get back on. When you don't belong, you're a bench warmer. On this show, there's no riding the bench. This is Beyond the Bench on the Empty the Bench Podcast Network.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Beyond the Bench, episode 5. Oh my God, 5 episodes. That one really quick. Cinco and not de Mayo. But we have a lot to get to. Follow the show at Twitter, at Beyond the Bench 1, at Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Bench 1. And follow the Empty the Bench Podcast Network at ETB Network. Follow Nick Fodera at Nick Writes Words. And myself at N Morgasen Radio. Boy. Today was a week, wasn't it? Today was a week. And speaking of a week, someone got themselves a really hot water. But before we get there, how was your week, Nick?
See, I'm trying to think of a better word to use than smothering.
I know that's how my week.
And not like smothered with gravy. It's like smothered with unpleasant things like gym socks.
Hey, you'll be able to smother gravy in about 2 weeks.
Oh, well, it's funny you should mention that because now, I'm getting ahead of myself.
You're getting a little ahead of yourself, but that we have a few stories that are coming up and going beyond, which are going to drive you crazy. But speaking of weird losses and smothering themselves in gravy, because this person might want to do it at this point. So Penn National, and this is the company that owns Barstool Sports, run by Dave Portnoy. So Penn National loses $2.69 billion
in valuation.
After earnings miss. Allegations against Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy, are the reason. Now, a massive story came out, and what's the platform? Insider?
Business Insider.
So Business Insider drops this massive story. Now, Dave Portnoy, who is, I don't know, they call him El Presidente or El Prez.
Well,
and I listen to Barstool Sports content, so this is a little weird for me, but
this is a little weird for a lot of people, I'd imagine. And, context is necessary, not to steal a catchphrase from another show, but the story that Insider put out apparently has been in the works for the past 8 months.
More.
And it details allegations against Dave Portnoy by several women who were under 21 at the time, saying that he engaged in rough sexual contact with them, choking, spitting in their mouths, filming them without consent, and it caused real, tangible emotional damage. To them, again, allegedly. I must use the big A. Allegedly.
Yeah, because we don't have a confirmed case in any sense or form of the matter. So it's,
we take even if it does, even if it does turn out to be you still have to take these kinds of allegations very seriously.
Oh, absolutely. Let's be very clear that you could like Barstool content all you want, but you need to be very careful and tread lightly when you talk about Dave Portnoy, because you don't know what the hell goes on with him behind the scenes at Barstool.
Yeah, and I've made my feelings about Dave Portnoy very clear over the years. And to give you the shortened version, the style and the culture that he's instituted in Barstool is just really not my cup of tea. The biggest.
Now, I know, and the guys get mad at me because I listen to some of the content at Barstool.
You know what?
But
I'm not going to, because I know.
There's certain things,
different strokes for different folks.
Let me clear one thing.
I can't be judgmental about that.
Let me clear up one thing. there's certain things that I'll watch, but I can't watch everything because you will lose your mind if you watch everything on Barstool. So I like the interviews. That's what I really like. I don't like the crazy content. I like Pardon My Take, which is their top show, which is just it's interviews, it's having fun, it's not being restrictive content. But
it's not the kind of the TNA that they mentioned, that the story mentions that was part of Barstool's part and parcel, in the early years.
you have to remember, though, and I'm sure the guys who are the top guys at Barstool have to be saying, "What the fuck was gonna happen to my value now that Dave Portnoy is possibly under even more allegations than we've ever seen before?"
I mean, we've been through this dance before, that he's come under some pretty serious allegations here. He's had sex tapes released like 2 or 3 times over the past.
And he doesn't care. He doesn't care either.
Yeah, and he doesn't care. He considers himself to be uncancelable. So, really, what is going to come of this? I mean, we can. I mean, there should be there should be something to come of this, but I don't know if it's going to be the outcome that people want from Barstool and from everybody else. So,
but we're missing something here, which we've seen this song and dance before. Now, I hate to say this, and Nick, you could tell me if I'm going a little too far with this comment, but would you say that this has some Harvey Weinstein notions to it? I said notion.
In what sense?
That it's a power guy being able to do what he wants.
Well, yeah, in that sense, again, allegedly, it's a 40-year-old guy, and hitting, and having sex with 19-year-olds.
I mean,
allegedly. So
let me clear up one thing. The Harvey Weinstein situation allegedly had illegal age girls.
Yeah.
This, not that it makes it
not non-consensual stuff.
Now, let me clear something up.
Rape in that case, but
let me make a distinct difference. Not that it makes it right, but they are of legal age. It looks like not that makes it right.
Technically, yes, but
no. But I'm not saying it's right.
Yeah, but if the allegations are true, which I mean, I would hope that they're not, because that would be horrible if it was. I mean, but it would still be creepy.
Of course, the guy's 45 years old, and these women are 20 and 19. I mean, so what I don't get, first of all, when you're a billionaire and you have a lot of money, or millionaire, billionaire, whatever he is, I think he's a millionaire, and why the hell would you go on social media, DM people where they could screenshot everything privately and share it with people?
If he did those things, I guess he thought he could get away with it.
It's social media. You don't get away with anything.
Again, it's the internet. Everything is always saved everywhere else.
I mean, I'm just looking at some of the quotes, and one of the woman's name is Madison. She doesn't give her last name, but she was out all over TV and social media. She kind of exposed herself to the media, which
and I'm not going to sit here and victim blame.
No, I'm not victim blaming. I'm just saying I found that interesting that she like totally exposed everything. Like,
I know it, but like I'm not accusing you of victim blaming. I'm just saying, I'm not going to engage in they were all looking for it, because it doesn't really seem like that's the case.
That's stupid. Anyone who says that these girls are looking for it,
but there are people who do.
I mean, that sounds like the whole Donald Trump effect, where people said that, well, you went to Trump, you were looking for it. No, you weren't. Stop, please.
At a certain point, it's. I think. Look, Dave, you're worth $500 million. Your company's worth $500 million.
You should just walk away.
According to the story, he had one foot out the door anyway.
Well, he keeps saying, and I believe this is a load of horse shit, he keeps saying that he has to work because he owns most of it in company stock.
Well, honestly, I don't know who to believe, but besides, that's not. It's getting away from the point of the story. Where this really should be something that people should look into. Because if the story's right, I mean, Jesus Christ, that's a bad look.
I mean, you don't think that Penn National was having a shit fit, explosive?
A shit hemorrhage. Yeah, they're having a shit hemorrhage.
I mean, that number is real. That number is real. That's part of the facts. 2.69 billion in valuation. People don't realize how much money that is.
And for those of you who don't know, Penn National is one of the biggest gambling sanctioned.
You're right. Gambling sanctioned.
Betting companies in the world almost.
They just bought the score because Barstool, because Dave made the recommendation.
So yeah, it's hurting them in their wallets, and I wonder what Penn National is going to do in response to them losing 2.69 billion. But you know what? I'm no billionaire. I don't run a $1 billion corporation.
I hate to say this, but I used to watch a lot of the Dave Portnoy content, and I don't know if I can really watch it the same anymore because of all this stuff. But what I would say is he might end up out the door because of this.
Like I said, I mean, stuff like this has happened before, and he's ended up clean. So
yeah, but Nick, it didn't affect $2.69 billion in valuation.
It's a good point.
That's some people's livelihoods.
Did it? In fact, it's his livelihood. Besides, 2.69 billion is. God, you almost can't even fathom that amount of money.
That's billion with a B. I'm not joking. And like you said before, so it says here also that apparently 2 days after the alleged incident, the girl Madison texted a close friend, quote, "It was so rough, I felt like I was being raped. He videotaped me and spit in my mouth and choked me so hard I couldn't breathe." This is what you were telling me before. Yes.
This is what I was referring to, and it's pretty bad. If I'm gonna be honest with you, consent or no consent. I mean, it doesn't seem like she agreed to that. But again, these are all. It's pretty cut and dry.
He's got to go away. I hate to say it. He's got to go away.
I don't know. I don't know if he will. Maybe I'm just cynical.
Yeah, but the problem is, so this brings up a whole nother set of worms. And see if you follow me here. If he is, I don't know, it's not a crime, or at least they're not saying it's a crime. Say he gets condemned.
Technically not.
No, I'm saying, so let's just, for layman's terms, say he gets condemned for these issues. Does that mean now that a case comes of this? Like, is there going to be charges of this?
I mean, there very well could be, depending on whether the women in question want to file sexual assault charges or battery charges against him.
But they're saying this goes back to 2019. So is there a statute of limitations? I don't know.
There's a statute of limitations of 4 years, I think. Well, depending on where it occurred, because
I don't know.
Depending on where it occurred, the statute of limitations could be like 4 years.
It's saying this one was at his Nantucket, like, expensive house in Boston.
Yeah, and Nantucket is in Massachusetts or Rhode
Island? That's Boston. Yeah.
Okay,
so I don't know what the statute of limitations is for that.
This is gonna look really weird for me.
Are you actually looking it up?
Yeah, actually looking it up.
Well, while you're looking that up,
to the NSA guys that are tapping my computer right now, I promise you, I'm not doing anything untoward.
I'm not, and we're not laughing at the story. We're just like, this is so crazy. And I don't know if you saw some of the pictures on social media, but on Instagram, Barstool Sports posted a photo. It was at somebody's house. It said, "Welcome, Dave. Come on in."
Years.
What?
6 years.
Oh, so then they have plenty of time if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So someone put up a sign.
What were you saying? What were you saying?
Someone put up a sign on their house, like one of those big signs, and it said,
"Oh yeah, we have pizza and pussy."
Yes, I wasn't even going to say that, but yes.
Yes, very. very classy. But
you know what? But you're right, though. In some forms, I'll agree with you that sometimes you have to be careful what you say and what you do. It's okay to be uncensored and do content, but when does it become?
Try not to be a dick. Is that what you're saying?
Not even that. I was just going to say, like, maybe you shouldn't do borderline illegal things.
Yeah, I did say you pretty much have to start there.
I just like all the words I keep seeing in this article. The two words I keep seeing are rough sex.
I mean, yeah, because you technically can't call it rape because they legally they consented to it, but it doesn't make it any less, horrible for the women involved here.
So according to this story, and I want to make sure I get the woman's name right. What's her name? Julia Black. I'll give her credit because this takes a lot of courage to put a story out like this.
It takes a lot of courage to do this, knowing how Barstool can retaliate against people they don't like, and anybody who badmouths them. So,
and so
again, it takes a lot of balls to do that. Metaphorical balls, of course.
Right. Well, so Portnoy has an estimated net worth of $100 million.
I mean, that's a lot. I mean,
still a lot of money.
You're worth $100 million, dude. You don't need to be doing this.
And you know what? Like you guys have said to me, he's done a lot of weird shit. Absolutely, I agree with you. I like when he does the interviews with people. That's what I like. When he sits down, he has a unique conversation with people.
You can't argue that the man's had a successful business model. I mean, $100 million. He's got 100 million reasons why it can't be wrong.
And the company's last valued in 2020, $450 million.
And that, yeah, considering it, again, that's not in dispute here. What Barstool is not in dispute. What's in dispute is the actions of one man.
Well, and you could also say the culture of Barstool.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
Like I said, I like some things. Like I told you, Nick, I like Pardon My Take.
You don't have to defend. You believe me, you don't have to defend. Different strokes for different folks.
But
I know you're not a terrible person. So.
Oh, wait a second. The reason I'm clarifying, not for you, but for people who are going to listen to this thing and say that because I like Barstool content, I must like what Dave does all the time. Well, I don't. Let's put it that way. And first of all, Pardon My Take is not Dave Portnoy. Pardon My Take is two guys. I'm blanking on the names at the moment, but I think they do a really, really, really good sports podcast. They're number one in the space. So, and they don't, to be quite honest, they wouldn't need Barstool if they wanted to go out and do it on their own now. So there's a lot of pieces to this whole thing.
We'll probably end up talking about it more.
Yeah, because
it doesn't seem like it's going to end here because stories like this rarely do.
I mean, I was thinking about, I don't know, Nick, maybe we could reach out to the writer and see if we can do an interview with them.
I mean, if she'd be willing, if you're listening right now, we'd love to have you on.
Yeah, because I'd actually want to know more, believe it or not. Because I always find investigations interesting. I don't know if you do, but but we'll see where it goes.
I do doing the grunt work of journalism while I was learning it at Hofstra was. It depended on what you got, because if you got something interesting, you're like, "Ooh, my day just got made." But if you're just looking up statistics in an online database that nobody cares about, that's when it can get kind of tedious. But that's the name of the game here.
And you know what's interesting? Also, I'll leave off this story on this last thing. Apparently, they tried to reach out to Erica Nardini. She's the CEO of Barstool.
She is the CEO.
And very well accomplished, by the way. Even before becoming, I think she worked at Yahoo. She worked at a lot of places. Very successful CEO. Apparently, she had no comment, which
is to be expected.
Yeah, but you're not having a comment about something happening to women. I mean,
towing the corporate line.
Oh, you know what? I'm so tired of that line also. Like, I mean, you're actually affecting your own business as well too.
Again, this is how these big corporations work when stories like this hit.
What do you think's going through her head right now?
Oh, I have no idea.
She's got to be.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I guarantee you, what she has to be thinking. Oh God, is my job like done for? Not because of anything she did, like the company.
It is.
I don't know. All right, I need to get away from this story. So, talking about really going into the atmosphere and into space. Let's talk about space. Tom Hanks says Jeff Bezos offered him a $28 million space flight before asking William Shatner.
So I was a little bit confused when I heard this story. Does that mean Jeff Bezos offered to pay him $28 million to go to space with him, or it would cost $28 million to shoot Tom Hanks into space?
No, here's the quote. Quote, I ain't paying $28 million, Hanks said.
So Tom Hanks would have to pay Jeff Bezos $28 million to get onto a rocket and be shot into the sun.
For 20 seconds.
Actually, yeah, you know what? Let me reference the episode we did about the. In fact, it was the first episode we did when we talked about. Let me just call back to that. He didn't actually go to space. He went to space's front door. He went to the front lawn of outer space.
I mean,
and now Tom Hanks had to pay $28 million. Of course, he's probably worth more than that, but still.
You know what? I bet Tom Hanks, who saved $28 million, is saying this right now.
Congratulations, dickweeds. I mean, at a certain point, you're basically just going on. You're basically just going on the world's. At Six Flags, the tower rides, the ones that go up and then down.
Are you talking about Tower of Terror or?
No, not Tower of Terror. That's in Disney World.
Oh. Which one?
The drop rides.
Yeah, it's like an elevator type thing, right?
It's basically a really, really, really big drop ride.
That's I hate those, by the way.
And then you're going back down again.
I hate those. Those would make me so like motion sick.
Well, you're in space. You can't feel gravity.
No, I'm saying like those actual rides at the parks. Like I would get motion sick, like going up and down.
Yeah, and believe me, to have to be an astronaut, you have to pee in bags, and I don't know if I want to.
Oh God, that sounds really bad.
Yes, it does. But Shatner, it was more poetic for Shatner to go because of Star Trek and because of everything Star Trek has meant to the science fiction community to boldly go. I mean, it meant something, right? It meant more.
Yeah, but now that you could basically shot up into space for 12 seconds and come back down, do you really $28 million?
$28 million for that?
I mean,
I could buy several gold toilets for that money.
I mean, money.
He could probably buy. Shit, he could probably buy a small island with that kind of money.
I mean, if I were Tom Hanks, I'd be saying this to Jeff Bezos.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying?
First of all, Mr. Moneybags, why does he have to pay you $28 million? You're one of the richest people on planet Earth.
Actually, he literally has like a ATM machine on speed dial.
You have the fortune to clone 5 Tom Hankses, put them in a rocket, and shoot them up into space, and he has to pay you. He's footing the bill, not you.
Because he's a billionaire, and billionaires are cheap, greedy bastards who have to keep making money.
How much you want to bet he still had clips coupons out of the Sunday paper? What are the odds that there is still a very rich man somewhere in this world who still clips coupons out in the Sunday paper? I'm not talking about your I have a really nice house in Northern Virginia. I'm not talking about that kind of money. I'm talking about fuck you money. So somebody who has fuck you money and still drives a Volvo.
Well, I was gonna say guys like Mark Cuban, but Mark Cuban actually spends his money.
He spends his money on his team, but you're not gonna see him driving a Toyota.
No, I said he actually will spend his money, unlike most millionaires, billionaires.
My thing is, if you're rich, spend it. Spend it on the share the wealth. Share all of it.
Come on, you're gonna try and change logic and say that billionaires are gonna give money to people?
Yeah, good point.
That's like saying, I don't know, Richard Branson should give everybody free rides to space.
He could afford it.
I mean,
not that I would go to space because, like I said, I don't want to pee in a bag, but still.
I mean, would it be fun to go up into space?
I mean, the thought, it's the thought that counts. I would like to have the option to go to space. But then I would probably just end up going, you know what? Can't you just take me on a really nice private jet ride to Vegas?
Yeah, really. I mean, I've been to Vegas.
Spend the weekend in Vegas?
I've been to Vegas, I think, 3 times now. And I was lucky enough to go on my 21st birthday. So, but,
oh, God.
But I know one person who would enjoy going to space.
Woo! Yes, Ric Flair would. In fact, he would be making that noise as the rocket takes off.
Well, I know one other thing he would want to do in space.
Oh, stop it. Now that's in my head and it won't get out. Quick, go to the next topic. Oh, God.
All right. Well, I got to calm down a little bit because the next story is not exactly the best one. So here we go. Now, I know this is a sports story, but we're going to talk about this from a different point of view because you and I had a lot to say about this. And so,
yes, we did.
So former Raiders wide receiver, emphasized the word former.
Third, he was he arrested?
Yes, absolutely.
Was recently arrested for driving under the influence and causing a traffic accident in which a 23-year-old woman was killed. And if you don't know, he was driving his Corvette at 154 miles per hour. His blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit, and it was 3:00 in the morning. So what do you think?
Actually, you're off by 2 miles. It was 156 miles an hour, and
it was 156 miles an hour.
And you left out that he had a loaded gun in the front seat.
Of course, the three things they tell you not to do when you go to.
Now,
if you're going to get pulled over by seriously.
We need to clarify one thing before we go much further with this story. This is not a race issue. Let's make that very clear, first of all.
Oh, absolutely not.
Because
believe me, acting like a drunken asshole is believe me, it's something that affects everybody.
What I'm saying is, if this was a white athlete, we would be doing the same thing. So, just want to make that very clear. No. I'm saying if this was a white athlete and they did the same idiotic thing, we'd criticize them the same way.
Oh,
you and I would.
Yeah. But the way the media,
right? I mean,
they've gotten better at it, especially since vehicular manslaughter.
Right. I mean, this story is nuts. It's nuts. It's crazy. And he's 22 years old.
I gotta feel terrible for the woman, for the family of the woman that was killed.
23 years old.
23 years old. Jesus Christ.
And a dog.
And again, but what the fuck? What the fuck were his teammates doing? What the fuck was the team doing? Not watching him.
Well,
not making sure he wasn't driving if he was drinking.
Can I go back to it? And this is going back to quite a few years now when the three of us were in a master's class together at Hofstra. And what was so horrible we talked about Florida Marlins pitcher Jose Fernandez. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do.
And remember, I was remember everyone criticized me because of what I said?
Yeah, but again, it doesn't make it you understand how that could come off as insensitive?
No, but do you remember what I said?
Yeah, I remember what you said.
What did I say?
That he's to blame.
Of course he is to blame.
of course he's to blame, but the reason why people yelled at you is because you were saying it in a way that made it seem like you were being kind of callous.
No, my point was that if you
I
did,
know what you meant, but it came off that way.
because people got mad at me also because I said why wasn't the team watching him and telling him he couldn't go out and do things during the season.
Or no, not necessarily going out and doing things, but if he was drunk, get him an Uber.
No, but like what I don't get, the difference between the Jose Fernandez situation and this situation now. Jose Fernandez was on a boat and he was driving a boat supposedly under the influence of drugs, and he crashed the boat and that was it. Like, but I don't understand this. The team should have full control during the season over what you're doing.
Or at least have a system where you can get your players Ubers if they decide to go drinking, so they don't drive.
Or how about just have a team like security curtail following them?
Or a chaperone. I hate to say it, but maybe there's a better, maybe a chaperone. That's not the word.
A security detail following them.
Yeah, just to make sure they don't drive if they go out drinking. Drink all you want, but just don't drive.
And just, forget the 156 miles an hour. Forget the alcohol for a second. What about the loaded gun?
Well, that's a different can of worms entirely. But we don't know why that gun was there. I'm sure we're gonna find out.
I mean, and he had a woman next to him, his girlfriend, in the seat next to him. He could have killed her.
Ladies and gentlemen, this story just gets worse and worse and worse.
And
but he'll probably end up being suspended, if I'm going to be honest with you.
He got released by the Raiders already.
He'll probably end up being suspended by two checks Goodell.
You know what I don't get? The judge actually gave him bail.
I don't know why that is.
So they set the bail at $150,000, even though prosecutors asked for $1 million.
So yeah, I think he was kind of letting him off the hook because he's not letting him off the hook, but letting him have bail because he's famous. He's a pretty good football player. He's not a star. He wasn't a star in the making, but he's a pretty good player.
He was out of Alabama. He was under the Nick Saban.
Again, not that had anything to do with anything in this case here.
Right. By the way,
that it undoes or somehow lessens what he did.
You want to hear something horrifying about the accident too? So the RAV4 that he hit with the Corvette, it was hurled 570 feet down the boulevard in Vegas.
Jesus Christ.
Which basically meant that there was zero chance
that woman could have survived. Well, that's physics for you.
I mean, 570 feet!
Oh, God. It's terrible.
But what's interesting...
It is. It's absolutely horrible.
You know what's interesting?
They're saying tragedy because it didn't have to happen. There were so many opportunities in that night where things could have gone different, and they just didn't.
But what's interesting, they said she didn't... Wait, you ready for this? She didn't die on impact when the car came down.
Poor decision making.
I don't get it. It's this is frustrating me, Nick. In a lot of ways, it is really severely frustrating. I don't know what to say, but she didn't die on impact. They're saying
whether she did or she didn't, she's still dead. So it's a matter of splitting hairs at this point.
And we're missing, and I put the headline up here as well, that he apparently screamed at the police after the crash, which makes it worse.
Oh God! Well, I'm sure at the moment he didn't know that he'd killed somebody.
Well, it says as medical staff advised Ruggs to stop removing the medical equipment, Ruggs began to yell, "Get me the blank out of here!"
Oh God!
Oh God! Like I'm getting. Are athletes bad people? I don't know. I think athletes are bad people. I can't really explain it. It's really, really bad.
You okay?
Yeah, I said our athletes bad people.
Are they bad people? Still, a not insignificant amount of them are.
All right. Let's move on to a topic that's going to make your blood boil. So, Chris Rock. Excuse me. So, Chris Rock apparently got really mad at a Brooklyn show, and he called anti-vaxxers dumb Kyrie mother effers at a basically at a Brooklyn comedy show.
Well, it's Chris Rock. Of course, he says it. He says it a lot more eloquently than in a way that only Chris Rock can say. But I mean, why are we getting mad at Chris Rock?
I'm not getting mad.
I agree with him.
I'm not getting mad at him. All I can say is, I mean,
seriously, Kyrie, if this is not the fuel that enables you to get the vaccine at this point, nothing will.
He's not getting the vaccine. Come on.
Look, I know it. I know at this point you're basically just hoping against hope that he'll get the vaccine. But you know what? When Chris Rock is dunking on you, then you know you got a problem here.
I mean, and Chris Rock had COVID.
And he knows. Believe me, he knows. He doesn't go for all this holistic hummingbird eyelash and rhino horn home medicine bullshit.
I mean, what was it? Ice Cube refused to get it, and he lost a movie role over it.
Yep.
I mean, just get the damn vaccine.
Just get the fucking shot at this point. There's not many more ways I can say it. There's not many more ways I can slice it. I've tried the good cop way. I've tried the bad cop way. I've yelled. I've screamed. I've pleaded. I've done everything short of get down on my knees and beg people to get this shot.
You know what's interesting?
If you're not going to do it, then don't do it.
You know what's interesting? Kyrie hasn't responded. Usually he responds to dumb things like this.
Because Chris Rock is calling him out.
It's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I mean, now we're hearing that some people are allowed to get third and fourth COVID shots, and now we have kids 5 to 11 that are officially allowed to get the vaccine.
Which is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's only going to help us get this under control sooner, if such a thing is even possible anymore at this point. Because I don't even know.
Of course, you're getting some parents who are afraid, which I understand. You don't know what it's going to do to your kids. I mean,
I understand in principle, but I would still do it if I was a parent.
It's a little terrifying, though. And I heard some reports that apparently some people gave kids the adult vaccine dose by accident.
And that's not good.
Because it's half the dose, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be half the dose.
I'm tired of this. I need this over. We're all like, our mental insanity is being affected by this. I don't know.
Isn't there something positive we could talk about, like Giannis coasting SNL or something?
Well, actually, you know what? I do have another positive story. Well, or first positive story. Let's talk about Alvin and the Chipmunks. So, Alvin and the Chipmunks is for sale, and
the owner, Ross Bagdasarian.
Right.
That's how you pronounce his name.
Right. So it's available for the easy price tag of $300 million.
Watch Disney buy him.
I guess. I mean,
when was the last time anybody really gave a shit about Alvin and the Chipmunks? The movies basically became internet memes before they came out.
Right. And
the show I can remember. I can remember watching it on Nick Jr. when I was a kid.
Me too.
And it annoyed the shit out of me then. So
it says they're shopping the production company also.
So you get to make, for the low price of $300 million, you get to make all the Alvin and the Chipmunks content that you want. If you want to make porn, make porn.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oh, God. I just Rule 34 that into existence, didn't I?
Wow. You went there. That's going to be a moment right there.
Nick saved me from myself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, now that we got past that. But excuse me, there's some other buyers that are listed in this story. So negotiations have apparently started. Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Netflix, and others continue to heat up as well. So apparently a lot of people want to be in the Alvin and the Chipmunks business.
Because everything is IP now. I mean, you know how big a geek I am. You know how much a fan of Marvel comics and comic books in general I am a fan of. But everybody that's tried to imitate the MCU has failed miserably. And it's not that anything like this is new, of course, because people have been buying up shit and trying to turn it into marketable IP for years. I mean, why do you think anybody still gives a shit about the Ghostbusters?
I'll give you another one.
We had those 2 movies, and those 2 movies were fine, and that's it.
I'll give you another one. Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious is a little bit different because it's not a nostalgia thing.
Freaking 10th movie's coming out.
But it's still recent enough that it doesn't fall under the purview of nostalgia yet.
I have another one. The Oceans movies.
I mean, yeah, you could say that.
What about the Shrek movies?
The Shrek was adapted from a book, but if you're gonna say,
yeah, but how many movies? Like, apparently this.
Remember a couple of years ago they made a movie out of Battleship.
Yes,
they made a movie out of the Haunted Mansion.
They made movies
out of fucking Jungle Cruise.
You know
what?
A
line that does not have a story, a ride that does not have a story.
Wait,
Pirates of the Caribbean, you got lucky.
Really, and what I was going to say is we should take Tom's idea, the Tom Albano, the other guy we do Empty the Bench with. He said we should take the fire hydrant, interviewing inanimate objects like a fire hydrant podcast, and just sell it off as an idea to a movie. We'll make a lot of money.
I mean, it definitely makes some rounds on the avant-garde circuit.
Exactly. So what's interesting is I'll compare this to one more thing. So in September, Netflix reportedly paid a huge sum of money for the entire catalog of Roald Dahl. Do you remember the books and all that stuff? How much do you think they paid? How much do you think they paid?
I think they paid something of almost $1 billion.
$700 million.
Which is still a not insignificant amount of change.
Yeah, but I still think the Roald Dahl catalog is way bigger than...
Again, everything... It's not like Disney did, where you can basically just rip off public domain stories and no one's going to know the difference.
Well, it also says here the massive purchase arrived 3 years after the streaming company signed a deal to create new animated shows based on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the BFG, and Matilda.
Which I can guarantee you no one will watch.
That's a lot of money. That's all I could say. Do you really think Alvin and Chipmunks is worth $300 million?
I did not realize. In fact, I thought it was already owned by some crazy multimedia conglomerate.
And now Netflix wants to get in, and all those companies. Paramount Plus, by the way, we have to admit Paramount Plus has done an amazing job with a lot of the stuff they've done.
I don't have it, and I'm just.
I don't either. But
I'm just waiting until Halo comes around, and the Halo TV show comes around, then I can.
But I'm tired.
Then I could pay for it.
I'm tired of all these streaming giants putting everything exclusively on the Plus platforms, though. Like, I'm getting a little sick and tired of that. No, but I'm tired of it. Like, if people
Disney had it with the Mandalorian, and they're doing it with their Star Wars stuff and their Marvel stuff. You need killer apps in order to sell these things.
But the thing is, when iCarly came out with the new revival,
yeah,
and like I wanted to watch that. And I'm like, it's Paramount Plus. It's like $15 a month. No, thanks. Not that important.
Just bum the login information from somebody who already has it. That's what I did.
Shh.
Correction. That's what I used to do.
There you go. It's all about money pits, as you and I have said many times before. Like, it's just. Yep. But all right, let's move on to another situation in the animated world. Homer Simpson meets Goofy in Disney's, and I can't spell, so why don't we take a second and actually fix that, because that would look stupid if I didn't. Here we go. Homer meets Goofy in Disney's first look at the Simpsons crossover special.
And the Simpsons just end already.
I mean, that and Family Guy, right?
Jesus Christ! You know what? I'm putting my headphones back on for this. Hang on. This is fucking pathetic. This is really fucking pathetic. Because look, I'm not going to be the one to sit here and complain about new Simpsons is not as funny as the older ones. Of course, I'm not here to regurgitate that talking point. People that are a lot smarter than me have made that point, so I don't need to make it again.
Wait, do you want to hear what it's called? So, first of all, it's going on the Disney Plus platform. Surprise!
Congratulations.
And it's appropriately called The Simpsons in Plusiversary.
God help us all.
Nick's just like, what the fuck?
I'm done. Go to the next story.
It's that bad?
Yeah.
So it's, just so people know, it appears November 12th exclusively on the streaming service. A global celebration of Disney Plus Day will come to life in 10 days with new content, releases, fan experiences, exclusive offers, and more. So I just apparently wait a minute. The Simpsons and Plusiversary is the latest crossover for the show after previously featuring Marvel and Star Wars and Disney Plus shorts earlier this year.
Corporate synergy. It'll be the death of us all.
Why? That's all I have to say. Why?
Who asked for this?
All right.
I didn't ask for this.
Let's move.
Ask for this. No one asked for this.
No one asked for this shit. All right. It's time for Going Beyond. Now, Nick, you already have a gripe with Christmas?
Allow me to elaborate a little bit on that point, ladies and gentlemen. Because I think it's a bit of an oversimplification. Now, one of the things you may not know about me is that I am a very big fan of Christmas. I love the Christmas season.
Me too.
Always have. That's the time that I was born in December. Again, I have a lot of fantastic, wonderful memories of Christmas with my family, and I hope to spread it to the next generation of Foderas that come around. And I also love Christmas music. I need to be very, very clear about that. I love Christmas music unironically. I'll listen to it pretty much, whenever I get a chance in the holiday season. Can't wait to be able to listen to it.
Me too.
But one of the things I don't want to do is listen to it in October.
Oh, no.
That I don't want to see is holiday commercials.
You're so choked up over it.
It's making me choke. One of the things I don't want to see is holiday commercials the day after Halloween.
You're too late.
When did you start to see holiday commercials? Just asking.
When? Years ago or now?
No, as of this year, as of 2021.
I think it was after Halloween, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, look, how can we miss Christmas if Christmas never goes away?
But here's the thing. Christmas, and like every other holiday, is all about saturation and commercial money. We know this. And the problem with Christmas...
but it doesn't have to be like that. You can have the commercials a little bit later in November.
But wait a minute. I remember when you and I were kids, especially me, that we used to get Christmas commercials right after Thanksgiving. That's when you got it, because you had a month to prepare for Christmas. And now I've seen Christmas on the radio. I've heard Christmas commercials as early as October 1st.
And Christmas music on the radio, too.
No, I haven't heard I didn't hear Christmas music on the radio as early as that.
Yeah,
but
apparently Sirius XM has been doing it since October. So
they just started. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I realized that a lot of this episode has devolved into old men shaking their fists at clouds here. Hey, look, another Simpsons reference. So I understand that. And I don't want to be cynical about these things.
Oh, come on.
I
I
don't want to be.
like when you're cynical.
I'm not saying that I'm not. I'm just saying I don't want to be.
But that's the fun part.
I'm a reluctant cynic. That's what I am.
Well-
A reluctant cynic.
Wow, that's oxymoronic, I guess. But what I would say about this whole Christmas thing is I love Christmas like you do, even though I'm technically a Jew and I had a bar mitzvah. But
Well, you're half Jewish.
I'm half Jewish and half Catholic, so I got to enjoy both holidays growing up. So I love Christmas. I love when they put the Christmas movies on TV. I love like having the food of Christmas and being with family and doing everything, but I don't need to hear about it in October. Please. I'm begging you, please. Don't do this. Why are you doing this to us?
Because it's about money, right?
It's all about the Benjamins. I can understand.
Now that I'm finished ranting, what are you ranting about?
All right. So my story on going beyond, and this is a weird story to finish off on, but we're going to do it anyway. So we talked about this on Empty the Bench. Suns owner Robert Sarver accused, we talked about this when this story came out, that he was accused of treating his employees poorly and saying a lot of awful, nasty things. And now he's accused of repeatedly using the N-word.
Hi, Donald Sterling. I didn't think I'd have to deal with you again, but apparently he's alive and well.
But wait a minute. What was that statement you made in Empty the Bench that, like, you thought that Donald Sterling wouldn't be the what's it called? The high point of these situations? You didn't think it would happen again or something?
It would be the exception, not the.
I mean, I don't know. As Nick freezes and I wait for him to come back.
Again, my point was it would be the exception and not the rule.
So this is the rule now, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
So this story
I think that's what this is, and to be honest with you, it makes it even worse. It really does.
So, like, I'm going through the story, and the Suns apparently welcomed an investigation today, which I was a little surprised after the stupidity of the Suns GM and all of them saying, well, the ESPN reporter made it up. I'm like,
of course he made it. Of course he made it up. Everybody always makes it up when they say something you don't like. But you said the N-word multiple times in a league that is in a league that is majority African American. What were you fucking thinking?
and what's interesting?
I mean, does every single NBA owner have to be a disgusting racist?
Maybe, I don't know, but Earl Watson, who's the head coach of the Suns, from 2016 to 2017, not now, claims Sarver hurled the slur multiple times after a game against the Warriors. And I'm not going to read this full quote because it's bad, but it says, quote, why does Draymond Green get to run up the court and say N-word?
Because it's always right. Because it's always the white person's defense. They get to say it. Why can't I?
That's
okay,
not really,
I need you to look at yourself in the mirror and answer that question as to why you can't say it.
I mean, that's a really horrible excuse.
That's a pretty piss poor excuse, if I may say so myself.
You're saying because a black person said the N-word, why can't I?
I should be. That's the Phil Mushnick defense.
And by the wow, I haven't heard you make that reference in a long time.
It is. It's the Phil Mushnick defense. I mean, well, what the guy? I mean, read his columns. He does it all the time.
But let me make something clear. No one should say it. How about that?
I mean, it's not for me to say who can say it and who. It's not for me to say. The only thing I'm sure of is that white people really shouldn't say it.
By the way, a report came out today also that 70 people are accusing him of things.
So if 70 people said you did something, you did something. It's the multiplicative rule. The more people that said you did something, the more likely it is that you did something.
I mean, come on. Like, for crying out loud.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the world that we inhabit, and this is why we have the show to point out stupidity like this.
Whoa. I missed part of this story as well. Wait a minute. So the report claims also that Sarver told a pregnant employee in 2008 she would not be able to do her job because she would be at home breastfeeding all day. I missed that.
And also, he's a misogynist, so who would have thought? He's just checking off all the boxes tonight.
And it also says, but Sun's management rebunked Sarver's wishes and did not fire the woman due to fear of discrimination.
Again, let's file that under F for fucking duh!
Wait, there's more. There's more behind the doors. Sarver is also accused of showing employees pictures of his wife in a bikini, which he claims was meant to show off team-branded swimsuits that were recently approved for sale.
Of course. There's always going to be a scantily clad woman somewhere. At least this time, it's not cheerleaders.
Wait, it gets worse. There's more. There's plenty more here.
Can I guess? Can I guess before you say it?
Go ahead.
He somehow mentioned his penis.
We'll get to something like that in a moment. But there's more. Sarver is admitting to pulling down... Oh, God. Okay. Pulling down an accounting executive's pants in front of fellow employees during an ALS ice bucket challenge back in 2014, which he regrets.
Okay, now this guy's just a sick bastard.
I mean, excuse me?
Ugh, God.
Wait, it gets worse.
Because it always does.
Sarver also allegedly made comments to staffers about shaving their private parts, NBA players getting strippers pregnant, and female employees crying too much. Oh, Jesus. I mean, what? Oh, God. It gets even worse than that, but I'll let you respond to that first.
Donald Sterling was not supposed to be something. It wasn't a competition, you asshole.
Oh, jeez. All right, here we go. Others claim Sarver discussed receiving oral sex from his wife, needing to wear extra-sized condoms, and asking players about their sex lives, which he denied.
Oh, and he's a filthy old man, too. Look at that. He's a filthy old man. Look at that. Congratulations. Just take a fucking bow. Really.
Oh,
just,
no.
you know what? Just raise the curtain, take a bow for the audience, and just you know what? Set off a firework, because that's what this is. It's letting the entire world know that, hey, I'm an asshole.
All right, we'll finish off with one thing, but this necessarily doesn't have to do with him. So as one employee put the working environment under Sarver, quote, if the commissioner comes in and investigates to see what the fuck is going on in Phoenix, he would be appalled. I mean...
Hey, want to bet?
I mean, yeah, ding, 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 ding.
I'll give you $5. Make sure that happens sooner rather than later.
I mean, yeah. No shit.
Oh God, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just.
I mean, what? What?
You know what? Let's see what Adam Silver does this time.
Adam Silver's going to do nothing.
Well, you know what? Let's find out. Let's find out whether I'm right, or you know what? Let's find out whether we're right, or he's actually going to do something about it and shit can this guy.
Why do I feel like when we come back next week, we're going to hear that like they're going to admit that all this was a fraud and they're going to say like someone made this up. Why do I feel like someone's going to say that?
Oh God, I hope not.
I don't know, man. What the hell? Donald Sterling 2.0.
Because it always ends up being the rich white old man. They always end up being fucking perverts for one reason or another, and racist too.
Oh, I mean, the worst thing of this whole story was talking about the receiving of oral sex and needing to wear extra size condoms. I don't need to know about your private life, dude.
Also, that's a fucking lie.
What?
Not only is he a racist, a misogynist, and a dirty old man, he's also a fucking liar. Because anybody who says that, I guarantee you is exaggerating. I guarantee you they are telling a tall tale that can make Paul Bunyan blush.
And why are you telling people to shave their private parts if that's allegedly true?
Aerodynamics, I guess. I don't fucking
know. Oh. Okay. Hear no evil,
know.
see no evil, as Tom would say. Ugh. Okay. I think I've had enough for one episode. Like, all right.
So make sure you follow us on our socials at ETB Network, at Beyond the Bench 1, at Nick Writes Words for me, at N Morgasen Radio for him. And make sure you like and subscribe for us on YouTube. Ring the bell, ring it again, and then again, and again, and again. So it sounds like Christmas bells. So it's a theme. See? This is what happens when fun things happen on podcast.
Just wait. You'll get to hear way more about the Robert Sarver story on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. So make sure you tune in to us on me and Nick on Empty the Bench on 4:30 on Saturday. So we'll be there. We'll have a lot to talk about. So don't miss it. It's going to be great.
Yeah. So for Nick Fodera, I'm Nick Morgasen. We'll see you next Friday. Try to hang in there and try not to talk about condoms and sex.
In polite company.
Right.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you back on the bench.
Good night, everybody.